teachers were picking out ebooks from some Info Ohio resources and putting down their choices for their classes. I froze the screen on the projector and I quickly put it in Chat GPT and questionwell.org and came up with these quizzes, and they were just like blown away. They had no idea anything like that existed. And I hope to show you during our little meeting today about Questionwell and how neat it is for certain things, but I still like GPT, Chat GPT for other things. So
can you show me that in
oh yes.
Yeah, just show us show us your screen, because
oh yes.
like I was just telling Roger, I have some more opinions about it. But yeah, I mean, I'm testing it too and finding out the things that it can do. And then, I have, some revelations of how this can affect or evolve us or transform us. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think this is going to be a good day today with us having a discussion based on our separate experiences.
Okay. Questionwell, I did put it on their hyperdoc that they were sharing during the training session, but I did find out there is a questionwell.com, and it is a tutoring site and totally separate. But this Questionwell was shared by a Woodmore teacher and said that her technology integration teacher shared it with her and she hadn't had a chance to use it. I was explaining to her about Chat GPT and how great it was to make questions for books. I actually took the book she uses with her 8th grade class. She's an ELA teacher, and it was The Outsiders. I couldn't even remember who the author was. And just put in questions for multiple choice questions for outsider, and boom, there were 10 questions within on Chat GPT, and then I did it on questionwell.org. Now, the reason I like questionwell.org is because look at all the places where it exports to.
I know, I love that, because I think this is what's going to happen, and I'm sure teachers don't want to hear this, but like collaborations are happening with things that were kind of dying. Now Canvas, of course, has rebirthed and it surpassed Moodle, probably a good 6 years ago, but Moodle is one of my favorite learning management systems, and that one, I like that one's there. And of course, they have the Google realm. Blooket is something that's been new and come out. And of course, Judy, you know that. And then you got your quiz things, Kahoot, Quizzes, and Quizlet, and Quizzes slipped in there. So I think a lot of people are getting rebirth from this this AI interface option out there.
The teachers at this district actually were a little disappointed that Schoology was not in this mix. And so, but I said, you all have Google accounts, right? So you can use Google Forms and you can put a link to it. I mean, that's pretty easy. And I have had no luck doing essay questions for Questionwell. It was basically, I used it for multiple choice, and I just did some testing and put essay questions for outsiders. Well, it only came back with multiple choice questions, and it even included the word essay question in some of the items. And I'm going like, oh, that's and it's great that you can, my safe sets here. Let's look at the outsider, the essay question. There's the results of that. And down here, one place it says, yeah, what is the purpose of the essay questions that accompany the outsiders? And I didn't put any learning objectives in. I didn't put any text. There's a box. When you do a Questionwell, you can put a box of text and have it create questions from that specific group of text. And it does that, but you choose which questions you want of the ones they give you, or you can select all, or you can trash any ones that like that one about essay questions. I would trash it. Yes, I want to delete it. But I just thought having both of these right now, these are my two picks, the Chat GPT and the uh,
Question
question well. Now, this in particular, Mindful Thoughts for Students by Georgina Hooper, is a ebook that is available for students on the EBSCO host resources on Info Ohio. And that's, so I did Chat GPT. Whoops, I don't think I am logged. Yes,
There
I
you
did.
go. There you go.
I'm logged in. So there it was, the essay questions. It did a really nice job. I mean, some of those I would have to think long and hard. Now, I did not test taking one of these questions and throwing it into Chat GPT as a separate, answering that question. And that's what I think teachers are most scared about.
Right.
Is,
And here you make some great points, Judy, because this is the thing that concerns me the most is, okay, so before Chat GPT will be, evolved into what it is now, and AI is
Judy, why don't you stop sharing and then we can see each other.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So what it's evolved into, the thing that was a concern from my opinion, my perspective, is that instruction possibly in some realms was not challenging enough because kids can Google answers. And I brought that up in the last vlog, that if a kid can go on, type in a question and find the answer, then that is not a challenging enough response or a challenging enough question for them. So I think that we as an organization and other organizations like us can go out and, one, introduce Chat GPT to districts, because one, some don't know about it, weirdly. Two, some do know about it and they're scared to death. Three, some are excited about it and they're using it like crazy, but they're still a little uneasy about, the cheating possibilities of it. Because so if I can go on there and I can find something rigorous that is not tedious for my students, and put that on my learning management system for them, either through your question well and push that out, or through Chat GPT and revise and whatever, that is creating a rigorous environment for instruction, and it's making my curriculum a little bit harder. But then, Judy, your point is now I can take that question and put it in Chat GPT as a student and say, create an essay response to this question that is using a 5th grade reading level and is using a friendly, playful tone, because maybe that's what mine is. Maybe it's professional, maybe it's like academic, maybe it's scholarly. And I've been playing with a lot of those words in Chat GPT to see what would happen. And I did one with an email and said, do a response that's professional yet friendly, 2 paragraphs long, that addresses these 5 things. And the big thing, like you said, also referring to you, Judy, is the one question: what if I just selected all those, copied them or exported them or whatever, put them in, to Google Forms or my other, formative, whatever other thing I'm using for assessments, just put it out there, and it didn't make sense. That's the same thing with any other resource that has existed over the years. If I go out and borrow or adopt someone else's materials, whether it be Teacher Pay Teacher or Promethean World or Smart World or whatever all these places are, I have to review it. I have to read it. Just like when I generated that email, I had to read it and make sure that it did sound like me, that it was addressing the same things that I wanted it to address, that it wasn't misleading someone into something I didn't want them, because I'm having someone else generate my thoughts based on my criteria, my algorithm, and then it's creating something from that idea that I had. So you still have to revise it. You have to read it. And that's where my problem was the authenticity. When I made that email the other day, I didn't make it. Chat GPT generated the email. I don't know, Roger, you were included on it.
I wondered if that was AI, because it sounded, frankly, it sounded too perfect, too good.
Yes. And I was upset at myself because I tried to go through and revise it, and it discouraged me. because it isn't me. Even when I send out the same email to 5 districts, I write something different every time. I create something authentic because that's what we do. We talk to people in an authentic, real way. And when I sent out that email to her, she, I was just like, dude, this doesn't sound like me at all. And then so I put it back in and I said, try it again, friendlier. And then it said, hey girl, how you doing? This is, and that didn't sound like me. And I was like, what in the world? So it almost created this environment of discouragement, because I want to be authentic. I want to be real. I don't want someone to stand in for me. And that has always been my concern about Chat GPT, whether it be generating an image, creating a poem, writing a story, answering an essay question. I feel like that would take away the authenticity. And then in turn, if we don't nip this with instruction, like students using it, that takes away the learning aspect as well.
Yeah, and it's just an incredible how quickly this is emerging on the scene. And I think we have another blog where we're talk a little bit about the very beginning and introduction to what's going on to AI and just some basics, because when we have had transformations in education, technology-based transformations, several times in the last few years. In my mind, some of the biggest ones was when we opened up video to the classroom, and students and teachers could get basically access to YouTube, along with literally millions of other video resources, and that changed education, and it changed the way in which many teachers taught. The next transformation, and we always have people that are leading and in the middle and at the very end of things, but the next major transformation started about 10 years ago, when significant numbers of schools started to have devices for every kid, at least within a grade range, one-to-one computing, we called that. And that continued to be a struggle for many districts for about 8 or 10 years. And then COVID hit, and all of a sudden everybody is one-to-one. Now we're still working out how to use that the most effective way as possible, and how much class time should be spent on technology, and how much class time should be spent that does not have a significant involvement with technology, just regular discussion and lab work and so forth. That's still an active issue within almost all districts. This next wave we're hitting is AI. And, we've had some form of artificial intelligence for several years now. Most of you may not recognize it as AI, but it is. And that's when Google starts to correct your spelling errors or suggest phrases for you to use. And especially in emails, but also within other types of documents and applications, the suggested phrase insertions, that's been going on for several years now. Yeah. Well, that's a form of AI. And what happened was in November of 2022, it went to the next level by the same types of artificial intelligence generators that had been available for several years and were being used in things like, predicting what you should say next in email, went to the next level where they could take Google questions and basically understand them in a more complex way, rather than saying, what are the 8 tribes of Indians most common in Ohio history, or prior to the settlement by Europeans. You would say, write a essay illustrating how each of those different 8 Indian tribes contributed to the culture of Ohio. And it'll do it for you. I mean, I've done that very question. And so that's what really changed. And it only became available about 6 months ago.
Something else that I learned yesterday from Betsy, she said that there are some AIs that are putting watermarks on their results that they give you.
Ooh.
And I thought, and she said, I think that might be a very good idea, that, you can start with what they gave you, but you're not going to be able to just copy and paste. And that's what I liked about QuestionWell and Chat GPT. I could copy and paste anything, but I could edit it, and that was critical. I mean, some of those questions were not very good. I would, they were a start, and that's kind of how I like it, is for somebody to give me some ideas, and then I go from there and make it my own, just to get my brain going.
Yeah, I like that too. I've been working on designing a t-shirt for Brent's baseball team, and I thought, what the heck, because of the session that I went to in Sandusky at the iTip conference, the Google Summit this year, I decided, to try it. It didn't give me an image. I thought they had said it literally gave them images, but maybe that was Bard or one of the other AIs. But I put in there that it's for a high school boys baseball team, called the Miller City Wildcats, and I put all these details in. And then I even said, I want them to be focused and motivated towards the next season. And I put the dates in, and that's their goal, and whatever. And it gave me some good results. And like you said, now I can look at it and it gets me thinking differently. So it said, hear our roar, which it's a wildcat. That doesn't make me think of a wildcat. I get it. They make similar noises. But then it said, my idea that I came up with was one more, but it said, it used the comparative. It said like, faster, stronger, whatever. And I was like, I like that, but I don't like the faster part. I would change that to this. And I would, so I really did like the results. It gave me probably 30% of the results it gave me. And now I can take that to a t-shirt designer and say, can you make this happen? And it even said, put the school mascot here, use the colors on the front, make sure that you review this through the school board of education to make sure that it is not copyright, blah, blah, blah. It told you all of that stuff. And so I was like, that was cool, all of that information. And it made me think about other things connected to that project that I wasn't even thinking about. I was like, make a t-shirt, yay. But then it gave me all these legalities and structural things that I need to think about and take to the printer. So yeah, I think that is the thing that's teetering. One, authenticity, and two, how it's going to be abused in this way that we have no idea. And that's the way technology has always been in education, is how we don't know what we're preparing people for, because when these kids graduate from high school and go into the work field, we don't know what technology they're going to be facing. And now there's an AI out there. How is that going to transform the workforce? How is that going to transform college? How is that going to transform masters and PhDs? And how is that going to transform the way that kids learn and study in the future? How's it going to, transform how they work in the future? So I think that those are huge concerns. But the big thing I think could be for us to get the word out is for the teachers in the world that don't know about these things and aren't aware that the student can just take my question, either Google it and get the answer, or even a little shiftier, put it in Chat GPT and boom, there's the answer. And all I have to do is change it a couple ways. And now the teacher thinks it's mine,
In researching Chat GPT and other AIs, I went to two, my first one, and I'll share my screen here, is, let's get it out here, is Edutopia. They had 11 results for Chat GPT, but like math, I wouldn't have thought of it for math, but there's several different references to using it in the math class. But Edutopia was a great place. And another one was Matt Miller's website, Ditch That Textbook, or he has a book, I think, Ditch That Textbook, but he has 30 AI tools. And of course, QuestionWell is one of them. And Chat GPT was the first one, which I found interesting, first and last one. And then he has a very short summary of each one. And my first question on question well was, is it ever going to, are they going to charge for it? I mean, because some of these are charging. There is a fee for Chat GPT if you want access during peak periods when it might say it's too busy. I've never gotten that. Have either of you gotten that? So,
Yes, yeah, certainly I have. And that's one of the issues that we're going to be hearing more about and talking more about. And that is, fees being charged for use of these artificial intelligences. And we know already that there is a more advanced, more robust, and faster responded form of AI available to Google Enterprise users compared to people that are using the free Google resources. So the whole issue of subscriptions to AI is already here. And as school districts and as individual teachers, that's one of the things that I think we're all going to be dealing with, I will say struggling with, is how much money do I spend on AI? Just like right now, you may be discussing, or at least should be, how much money do you spend on entertainment technology, on video subscriptions, on satellite or cable TV? How much money do you spend on all of these things? Well, add AI to that list, because probably you're going to want a paid version of it sooner rather than later.
Well, I think that's a great point, and I think that's something that we definitely can discuss in the next episode. I think that this is something that's going to have to continue. I don't think it's going away, and obviously it's everywhere. But all the resources that we've talked about will be on the link that you see on your screen right now. And we're going to continue this into the next vlog episode, probably a little more positive aspect. You're always going to get me to jump in and continue to say the instructional and authenticity thing. I don't think I can get over that yet. But I believe that the next step could be Judy introducing, there are so many other applications that are connected to it, and everybody is going to jump on board to grab that AI to do that. So if you have any questions in regards to this topic or any other instructional technology topic, feel free to reach out at the contact information that'll be at the end of this video. We appreciate you hanging out, and we will see you next episode.